All right, guys, so today at PAX East in Boston, Massachusetts, Gearbox came out on stage and they went over some stuff that we had all been asking about Borderlands 4. We got more information about Vault Hunters, we got more information about raid bosses, Pearlescents, legendaries, dedicated drops, basically every fan question, including my stupid mini-map stuff, got addressed at this thing. So without further ado, let's dive in. Development is going great and further along than any other Borderlands game has been to this point in their development, which is a good sign. The Vault Hunters split up Scooby-Doo style.
Let's split up and search for this ape man who eats hamburgers.
This is kind of the same thing that happened before Borderlands 2 with the Vault Hunters from Borderlands 1. You had Brick and he went off and did his own thing. Mordecai went and did his own thing. But this time they're all out in search of Lilith for whatever reason. I think they should just let her be lost. Vex has 3 different action skills: Incarnate, Dead Ringer, and Face Familiar. As a Zane and Doppeljack player, I'm excited here about Dead Ringer because you can summon a clone, and they said that there is a class mod that you can get that allows your clone to have a copy of your weapon, and you can make multiple clones and reapers and change their elemental attunement as you spawn each one. And you can see in the footage that the clone is actually doing pretty good damage here.
And by the way, there's at least one class mod that will let you actually pass on your gear to specters, which is always pretty exciting. That's awesome.
Now, from this brief little clip, this looks like this might say level 50. I can't really confirm that that's a 5, but if so, level 50 might be the level cap at launch. It's hard to really speculate on that. They haven't really given us any information, but level 50 is generally how they start most of their games, and then they work up from there. Amon is a big beefy daddy according to the developers.
He is a big beefy daddy.
I am your coolest slutty daddy.
He has a ton of weapon options for his skill set, including hammers, spears, shields, axes, and even whips.
Daddy.
What can players expect as they're traversing this world? There's no load times.
No load times, they say. I have to imagine that there's an initial load in like Grand Theft Auto that will probably be pretty substantial based on how big the world is. Then once you're in the world, it should be seamless without loads. Likely with dungeon areas that are off on their own, and they have maybe their own hidden load in as you walk through a tunnel or something like that. There will be dynamic weather systems: rain, snow, wind, dust storms, etc. It could be interesting for gameplay, but it could also cause a lot of visual pollution problems. There will be world bosses and world events for bonus loot. They said be on the lookout anytime you're out driving through the maps or traversing the maps. Be on the lookout for world events, because some of these bosses will have specific drops, and we'll get into that here in a minute, that you're going to want to chase. They explained why they got rid of the mini map and why they went to a compass system. Randy seems to completely misunderstand my concern that the mini map isn't what we use for exploration. We use it for quick information on our immediate surroundings, primarily during combat, to know when somebody is attacking us from another angle without taking our focus off the enemy in front of us. It's like removing the mirrors from a car and saying, yeah, but now you'll not be distracted by knowing where other cars are in relation to you. I think that it's a mistake to remove this. I think that it should at least be an option that you can toggle on, but that's the last thing I'm going to say about it until I actually get to play the game, so that way I know if it is actually impactful or not. Echo 4, the little robot that we get in this game, will give us rewards and allow us to do the SDU upgrades right there from our menu. No more talking to Lilith, no more going back to a hub now that we've got enough money so that we can upgrade our shotgun ammo, for example. You'll be able to do that right here in your menu. The part system seems wild. It's possibly too wild. The odds of you getting a god roll or even just a good roll might be brutal based on the part system, but I guess it's another one of those things where we kind of have to have our hands on to really know how bad this is going to be. But there's going to be a lot of part variation, and that could be problematic. There is no crafting in the game. Now, despite what some people will tell you, I do not think that crafting belongs in a Borderlands game, and the reason for that is this game is a looter shooter where it's all about killing a boss and getting the drop. Every time I've ever played anything else where there's crafting, it's like, okay, we'll go gather these materials in the world, now stand at a workbench for an hour. That to me isn't any fun. I would much rather kill Savage Lee 30 times and try and get a Herald, or go spawn in and kill Road Dog to try and get the Hellwalker. You know what I mean? That to me is more fun. You're doing something rather than standing at a workbench. They explained that every gun can potentially roll with various manufacturers, including they gave a good example of that every gun can roll with a TDOR part that allows you to throw it, or you can get a, say, like a gun that has torque stickies and tracker darts, so that your tracker darts are torque sticky rounds, which could be pretty wild. They then explained Firmware, which is the in-game system designed to boost the power and utility of gear. Randy jokes that it sounds like a set bonus, and they specifically show right here on the card where you have airstrike 1 out of 3, and they said if you have 3 out of 3, then you're going to get a set bonus essentially. There is a new shield type called Armor, which is quick charging and designed for offense over defense. This sounds right up my alley. The skill trees are 2 to 3 times bigger than what we had in Borderlands 3, so build diversity is going to be amazing. One of the things that they mentioned was that, say, me, Moxie, and Jolts all spec'd into the exact same capstone of this skill. We could all have completely different builds, even though we're all using the same action skill. White to green to blue to purple will feel like a progression more than it did in previous games. Legendary items will feel more impactful and have their own special behavior. They spoil a legendary called Ruby's Grasp that won't let enemies get away, and they basically implied that it's going to drop from the boss that we've seen in the footage that has all the hands. Dedicated drops are also immediately thereafter confirmed. Woo! Let's go! Every boss, every mini boss will have a drop at launch.
Yes.
Oh, did you see that? They showed the hunt. They also briefly showed the hunt and the $95,000 that we raised for St. Jude in 1 week. Since 2021, we've raised over $500,000 for the kids of St. Jude. It's a fun community-run event where we hunt for dedicated drops in your favorite Borderlands games, and hopefully that continues with a Borderlands 4 hunt next year. If you want to know more about the hunt, I will link you guys to the hunt website and the hunt Discord down in the description of this video, so you can go over there and check it out. Maybe you'll participate. We got another one coming up in August. Co-op is revamped and improved. The co-op is better than ever. Fast travel right to teammates for when your teammates abandon you. I'm looking at you, Jolts, dude, during the hunt, you son of a gun, with no load times for traveling to your teammate either. They then gave us a shift code for 75 golden keys in each Borderlands game, and also 20 diamond loot room keys for Borderlands 3. There's a code for that down in the description below. If you want to do that, just gotta, connect your shift account. Grant says that Invincibles are coming back to be announced at a later date. Not sure if that means that they're not in the base game or if they just want to talk about them later on and not now. Moments later, Randy basically mentions that they're going to talk more about in-game info soon, possibly at the June fan event in Los Angeles. So to me, it sounds like maybe there's Invincibles in the game at launch, but they don't want to talk about it just yet. They said the badass and Guardian rank style in-game returns. They didn't give much detail on it other than it's going to be different than badass rank or Guardian rank, and you will have to make some hard choices, they said. They also danced around the price point of the game. Randy jokes that they're going to then sell us a mini map later on. He is now my mortal enemy. Ordinite is not a currency, but it has an opposite effect to Iridium, which is about as vague as you can get. They did say it will explode shit.
Daddy.
Maybe it's used for like resetting the cooldown on your ordnance. It's hard to say. And then they talked about rarity. They said that rarity will go from common items, which is white items, to green, to blue, to purple, to legendary. And then Randy chimed in with this.
There's your gray, there's your green, there's your blue,
I don't like how you're saying
there's
that, by the
your
way.
purple,
And then there's orange.
there's your orange, there's your
What? Hold on.
I'm such a fucking troll.
Randy.
I'm such a troll.
He is trolling us. There better be pearls in the game at some point, man. Like whether that comes with DLC or whatever. I think that it's good to have that extra rarity above legendary. That's something crazy hard to chase for like the hardcore of the hardcore players to go after. So that's it, guys. That's the recap. I've covered like the high points. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. If there's anything that they did not answer that you think that they still need to answer, leave it in the comments below. I will try and ask them. Appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover all things Borderlands. Borderlands. And if you need news and information, I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.